here we go. Let me go ahead and finish this guy up a little bit. We're going to get this done in stages. We were working on this a little bit earlier. We're going to go ahead and finish this up later. But for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and get this kind of pulled down. Put that off to the side for the moment. Just kind of let that sit for a little bit. Before we get going, we are on Shark Week. We have this amazing little shark stew. I'm going to park it right there, and we're going to hold it with the tweezers so you guys can see it, get a little better view. This is the shark tooth we did the other night. Look at that baby glow. Isn't that just freaking awesome? So yeah, there's the shark's tooth we did the other night with the uranium. You can see it just kind of bouncing there, and then it glows. So that's kind of fun. Tonight we are doing the Sawfish. I've never made it, so it's going to be a little different. And we're going to give it a shot. So we're doing a different shark tonight. And this is the Sawfish. I've never made one of these either, so we're doing a lot of sharks I've never done before, a lot of stuff I've never done before. Yeah, that tooth is actually pretty damn cool. Maybe that's an item I've never thought about. Maybe I could make custom teeth for people. We'll make some glowing uranium teeth. Can you imagine someone having this on their mouth, just kind of sitting there, hanging there, and just having it glow? Hey, what's up? How you doing? See? Sorry, I'm in a wired up mood tonight. You guys have to put up with me. Well, you don't have to put up with me, but hey. I'm in a wired up mood tonight, so welcome in. All right, let's get this trimmed up. We're going to start off with the Sawfish. And we're going to start with the body here in just a second. It's a little scary on this one because the actual saw part is going to be my challenge. The shark is pretty basic. It's not that bad. Pull this little chunky off here. Trim it up just a tiny bit. Let's go ahead and get this mellowed down a little so I can use it and keep everything straight as we're making everything. This is an interesting part about the glass. So I start off with a big chunk on the end. And the reason is it kind of prevents the heat from coming back at me. This kind of acts as a little barrier. But it also allows me to be able to spin the rod, have a nice chunky end, but not too much at the end. That's always one of the drawbacks, is when they're kind of chunky at the end. Or the whole rod is. Like that. Can you imagine spinning that versus that? This is way easier. All right, let's go ahead and trim this up and start the fish. The shark. Get my tweezers out here. Make sure we got that all prepared. Ooh, that's a bad spot right there. So we're going to trim off all the excess bad glass at the end here. And what makes it bad is when I set it down on a hot piece of glass on the surface, it can pick up some residual glass bits on the bench. Don't want that. So we're going to trim this up. Pull off the excess here. Set that down. So we made the most unique hammerhead shark ever today. We're going to do another version of it. But there's my hammerhead. That's the most unique hammerhead shark ever created. Get it? Hammerhead? I know, I'm being a little goofy, but hey. So there's the hammerhead shark. Like that. Okay, let's get to building this sawfish. Here we go. Oh no, there's still a little piece of scrap glass on there. Hold on. Got a little nugget of something at the end here. There we go. Oh my God, seriously. All right, now we can get going. So we're going to start with the body of the sawfish, and then we'll make the actual saw part next, and then we're going to fuse the two together. I'm not going to build it as one. We're going to have to make the blades separately. So right now we're going to do the initial shark build, and then we'll add the little saw part. I've never seen anybody do this sawfish out of glass before, so it's one of those things where I was kind of like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Never seen it. I'm going to kick on the large flame. Welcome in, everybody. We are having a great time tonight. We're going to do something very unique. Create the sawfish. Bring that down a little. It's good to see everybody. So we're just going to keep pushing this in a little bit, create the body. We're going to be kind of on a relaxed, chill stream tonight. I'm not going to be pushing very fast. We're not going to be doing a speed run. We're just mostly looking for chill, relaxed, enjoyable. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to hit it in the chat. I'll try and get to your questions. So we're still building up. I don't know how big we're going to make this. I don't want it tiny, but I don't want gigantic either. Now this guy has a very long, skinny tail type situation, as opposed to the normal shark. It kind of reminds me of a mako shark, or I think they call it a shredder. All right, I think I got enough here. Just got to get that buttoned up a little bit more towards the middle. There we are, and we'll start the tail section now. All right, so let's start pulling. All right, we got our initial body built. We'll have to refine it a little, but there's our initial start right there. So we're going to taper this down a little bit more, pull the head down a little, and then we'll get to adding the fins. So we're going to attach right at the end here. So this section has to work, and then the head area. Then we can proceed. We're going to heat it up and pull it down. What's up, John? How you doing? Tim, how are you? I love greeting all my members and subscribers. And that is the perfect taper. Then we just got to work on the head area. So this has to thin down quite a bit up in the front. So we're going to use a small flame, pull it down a little. Keep that middle section a little bit chunky. We're just going to work a little bit more here. And there we go. So this will be the head. We're going to pull the tail down now and off and start the actual fins. Let's go ahead and get that done. Thresher shark, that's what I was thinking of, a thresher. So this has kind of like the body of a thresher. All right, that's our initial body. So just the torpedo looking shape. Ignore the little blob up at the front. That's just my holding rod. And let's get to building this guy. We're going to set that down, pull this off. And let's start with the back fins. We got that built. We're going to flatten it now. Almost looks like it's starting to make an airplane. We got the airplane mode engaged. All right, let's go ahead and pull this guy into its fin style. Okay, just got to button this up a little. Seal that in there. So initially that weld right there you should definitely be able to not distinguish where I attached it and where I didn't. You shouldn't see a crease in there. That's how you know you kind of build it right. You shouldn't really see a crease. And then we're going to come back here and do the second half of it. Make sure that weld's on there really good. And pull it down. Okay, we're going to weld that in really good. Got to correct the top one just a little bit. Just had to move it a tiny bit. Straighten it out, it's a little crooked. And there we got our tail section all completed on that. So what I was saying is you should be able to put that in there, and it should be hard to distinguish where the weld is and where it's not. It should be very, very blended. All right, we're going to do the next one, which is a little bit of a dorsal fin towards the back end, right in between the main one and the tail. We're going to go ahead and park that in here. Make sure our weld's really good. Give it a little bit of a flatten. And then a small pull. Nope, not quite there yet. Go ahead and weld that in. So I'll show you guys as we start building this, every little stage that we're doing. And a little bit right here. And there we got the second one put in right there. Then we got two more coming off the bottom, the main one up front, two more off the sides. Let's go ahead and get the two little back ones done. Weld that in really good. Do the next one. There we go. So we got the next set all built on there. This is where I have to change direction a little bit though. We're going to have to put an attachment rod to the back so I can finish the rest of this. Otherwise it's too hard to kind of manipulate. We're going to come back here and park it right in the back of the tail. And that right there will be the final disassembly spot. So that's where I'll finish it up. And we're going to tear off here. And there's our initial shark built so far. So we got two more coming off here, the main dorsal, and we'll see how it goes from there. Let's get the big dorsal done first. The signature shark fin. Now let's get that welded in. See, that's what I'm saying right there. The weld should be very, very clean. I gotta do this side now real quick. And there we are. So we got that part finished. Two sides. Now these are pretty long. So we're going to have to add quite a bit of glass on here. Get that fused in. Now we got one side done, and I just have to match the other side. Okay, so far so good. And then we'll pull it down. Load that in. And there's the frontal view. And there's our little sides. All right, so this is where it does change up a little from the normal shark. This particular shark has a little bit of a flattened head. It's not completely flat, but it is a little flatter than a normal shark. It doesn't take much, but just a little bit of a flattening right there at the head area. So we kind of flattened it out. We're going to go ahead and carve the gills in, and then the eyes are really tricky on this too. Got my trusty Spyderco. We've got our shark gills put in, so we're getting pretty close to this guy being done. And then I think I got my little tiny maybe it's one drawer down. Oh, there it is. So we got our little tool here. We just put the eyeballs for the shark in there. All right, so now comes the hard part. We got to build this sawtooth part. So we're going to garage this in the kiln. I'm going to build the saw part separately. It may take me 2 or 3 tries to get it right. So it's going to be a little bit of a patience thing for me. And we're going to see how it works. It may take me 2 or 3 tries on this guy. Hopefully I get it in one shot, but that's a hope and dream right there. Pull that off. All right. So basically I'm going to push this in a little bit thicker. We're going to flatten it. And then we're going to add the serrated edges to it. So we're going to heat the whole thing up. We're going to flatten it a little. It'll be a little crooked and catty-wonky in the beginning. So we just took that, flattened it out a little. We're going to extend it now. Pull a little bit back here. So we got the initial blade pulled. Tear that off. Clean this front up a little. Okay, so there's the initial flat part for the sawtooth right there. The trick on this is we're going to have to carve into it. I was going to do dots all the way around. I don't think that's going to work. So we're just going to have to carve it. This is the part where it gets a little tricky. As it gets towards the end, it gets heavier and heavier, and it wants to fall down. But here you can see where I serrated one side, and then there's the clear side, the non-serrated. So there's our sawtooth on one side, and we just have to match it on the other side now. I'm going to cool the blade off. And I think we got it. I think first try it came out okay. So there's the sawtooth part of it. Actually looks really good. I'm not disappointed with that. Tear this little end off here. Oh well, that's not going to break. All right, let's assemble it to the shark. Move that down. So there's our sawtooth on there. And it looks obnoxiously long, but that's exactly how they are. But I did realize my dyslexic butt put the eyeballs on the bottom of the damn thing and not on the top of the head. I put it on the bottom. So I got to smooth that out and re-push it. This is the drawback of being dyslexic. That's better. Do this side. Can't believe I put him on the bottom of the head. There, that's better. And there is our little sawfish shark. Actually, it kind of looks cool. I'm going to fix this up a little. It's a little bit bent. Let's get it straightened out. That's one big ass piece but yeah, there we go. Sawfish. I kind of like it. I've never made one of these. It's kind of cool. Now I have to build a base for it. I've never done that before. It looks kind of cool, to be honest. Let's go ahead and create a base. I brought out some really cool color for this. So we're going to mix that blue-green color in it. That should be enough. Let's go ahead and get it built up. And then we'll make a little base wave for it. So this is going to be mounted on like a little wave. I just have to get it big enough to be able to sit flat. So we're going to bring this in and push it all together. And then we're going to add the blue in here and give it a little blue-green sparkle. Give it a little bit of an ocean theme. So it's going to take a minute for me to get this built. Add a little heat to the subject. There we go. Okay, so next step, we want to build the wave. I need to make sure it has a wide enough platform to sit on. But in the meantime, I need to get a chunky monkey rod that is long enough and strong enough to support it. You are perfect. So this gets built in different layers. It's going to kind of look like a teardrop when we start. Pull it off there. All right, so we're going to take this bluish green color right here and we're going to start layering it down. And we're going to come across one more time here. And one over here. So these will be double thick. So there's a couple stripes of color. Now the sides, these will be the sides over here. We're going to do 3 stripes on each side. Create a little bit of texture. Then we're going to come with clear on top of that, encasing all that. Let's go ahead and do that now. 1 stripe down the middle, then 2 on the sides. There's 1. Let's do the other side. So right now we got color running. So there's the sides right there, the 3 stripes. That'll be the edges, side, and edges. All right, so we got to take some clear. We're going to go on top of that. And create a little bit of a magnifying effect. One there. Then we got to go right in between those lines on the other side. Do the other side. And then we're going to start the initial shaping. And then keep building up layers from there. All right, we're good. This right here. Pull this little bit of color off. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys hanging in there? Thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the gifts. All right, so we're going to fatten this up on the bottom, widen it out. And then we're going to keep stacking layers on top of it. Before I do that, I got to move that off. I need that spot. So what I'm doing now is I'm smoothing everything in, getting it to blend. We're going to flatten it a little bit. Once it gets melted in there, there we go. Okay, I got my initial push there. Take that off. Clean up the bottom. We're going to add a bunch of color to the bottom end here. Let's go ahead and do that now. Now this is looking good. This sawtooth sculpture is going to be awesome. Now start mixing it up. And there we go. So basically we just got a lot of color sitting on the bottom there, and we're going to start getting that wave form built now. So while I'm heating this up, I will bring the filter out again so you guys can see what I see. So this is how I see. This lens is the same as my glasses. You can see it's filtering out all that excessive brightness, all the sodium flare versus that. See how you can see into the fire versus that. That's how I can see what the heck I'm doing. All right, so we got to bunch this up a little bit down here. I don't care if the lines get all squiggly. I want them kind of organically moving. There we go. So there's the initial push. I'm going to come over here, flatten down, flatten down. Looks like a Hershey Kiss gone wrong when you start off. It just doesn't look like much right now. But, as I said, we'll build it up in layers. We're going to take some of this sparkle blue green and we're going to go around the bottom again. Creating a simulated ocean bottom. Go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. It's going to be a very brief section where you can see it. But we'll bring it out, give it a second, you'll start to see the swirls, and it's a very brief second that it happens. Right about there, you can start to see the swirls bouncing in there. All right. Now we start fine-tuning it. So that'll be the bottom. And we're going to start filling in the gaps. This is where we're going to start adding in all the variations of 3D effect on it. I might put my gloves on for this. This might get hot. So the rod itself doesn't get hot, but this acts like a radiating heat dish so that all the heat is pushing down. And it can get to you after a little bit. So we're going to pop this on just to be safe. Oh, that already feels better. All right, let's go. Well, let me show you the color before we get started. So you can see we got colors bouncing through there. Now it looks very brownish, but when it gets done, it's going to be a blue-green. All right, so we're going to start with the two edges. And you can see right there, we got one edge versus that kind of lumpy side. So we're going to build that on the other side as well. So it should kind of come down triangle. And then we're going to fill the sides out and bring it way out so it's stable. Now normally it's not that hard if you're not adding color in between. But I wanted to sandwich the color in there. So that's what I was talking about, where you start building this little triangle section. And we're just going to build it up layer by layer. No biggie. Yeah, let's use a thicker rod for the sides. I think the base will take longer than we spent on the actual shark. So this is what I was saying about creating a little base for it. If you look at it from the top, you can see we got little fingers coming off the sides. And that's going to create a little wide base for it. So when it sits, it's not going to be tipsy. No drunken sharks. Welcome in, everybody. What's happening? All right, we're going to do the other side now. And I want this very organic looking. And now you can see we're starting to get those little fingers coming off where the bottom will be. All those little extensions down here are going to be where it sits. We're going to come off to the sides, blend those in as well. Start about the 3/4 point. We're not going all the way to the top. One side partially done. Over to this side. So we got that side right there completed, and then we got to do this side. See, there's big gaps in between there. Let's go ahead and fill that in. So this just creates a wide platform for the shark to sit on, won't become tipsy. And one more over here. From the top, now you can see we're getting that wide base to it. All right, 2 little sections, and then we're going to flatten it and pull it to a wave and put the shark on it. Oh my God, thank you for that. Who sent that? Christine, thank you. And Marston, thank you. That was awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. All right, we got one side done. We're going to do the other side. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Before we flatten it, and then we'll get it done. So now you can see the direction that this wave is going. So there's the thin side and there's the wide side. from the top, you can see where we got it longer and shorter. And we're going to start heating it up and pull it down into a little bit of a wave. And then I'm going to flatten it, and then we'll grab the shark and pop it on there. Get all that blended in. Okay, here we go. We're going to start folding. One more fold. Yeah, my torch just sounded like it farted. So now you can see we kind of got that wave effect going right there. We got the little curly cue for the wave. Let's bring out a light and see if we can get any color coming out of it. Here we go. Now it's not showing the full color right now, but it will be blue-green in there when it cools off. But yeah, there's our wave so far. And then last step is we have to flatten the bottom, make sure it's completely flat. So I'm going to attach a little spot right here. This is exactly where the shark is going to go. So I don't mind that being there. So we're going to heat the whole bottom up and flatten it out. Okay, we got to clean up the center a little bit. Get rid of that little clear section. Give it a little swirl. And there's our color running down the bottom. And here we go. Ooh, that's even hot with the gloves on. A little bit wobbly. So when it's wobbly like that, I got to heat the little edges here, the little fingers coming out of it, let them droop down a little. They should be below, a little further than the center, because right now it's centering, it's high centering in the middle. And if I have to, I can grab a glass rod and add a little extension onto them. I don't want to try and do that, but we may have to. All right, so far so good. Okay. All right, we're going to add little extensions to the edges here. See what's happening, and this is the only drawback of this design, is it's high centering. So the middle is still getting a little higher than the edges, those little fingers. So we're going to add little extensions all the way around. Just tiny little dots, and then it'll sit on the dots instead of the middle. We're going to go ahead and do that now. Just make sure they blend in really well. You ever see those little objects that have those little silicone dots on them? Same thing, just in molten glass at 3,000 degrees. Doesn't take much, usually about a millimeter or two. All right, I think I've got it all the way around. So I'll bring it so you can see how it's got little dots on the bottom, little fingers extending out. So the trick now is we're just going to heat those up and gently set it down. We're not going to push on it. Just going to let gravity do its job. Heating on the outer edge only. I'm actually going to hold it up a little bit before setting it down. I'm not going to let it fall all the way down. We're just going to hold it up just a little bit. Way solid. That's a lot better. So there's our wave. Okay. See if this will grip it well. We're looking good. There we go. We got Sawfish all done. And I got it a little bit at an angle just like I wanted. And there it is. All completed. Okay, that was kind of badass. That was badass. I love that. Yeah, I definitely like that. All right, let's check this guy. So we made this one a little earlier. We got the little bees on it. I don't know if I don't know what I want to put on the top up there. What do you guys think? Should I put a butterfly, dragonfly, or do the rest in bees? I don't want to do a hummingbird. What do you think? Dragonfly, more bees, or a butterfly? We'll let you guys kind of vote. I'll make a quick, I got some other colors here that I was experimenting with today, and I kind of want to make a marble out of it, make sure they're completely compatible. Dragonfly, dragonfly, dragonfly. Okay. Yeah, I think a dragonfly with the bees would be kind of cool. We could do a dragonfly on there. That wouldn't be a problem. Let me get rid of this little chunk here. Hear it sizzle? That's all the glass sizzling in the water. All right, let me see what I got for color here. You know what? We could do the dragonfly body out of this purple. We could do the dragonfly body out of this purplish color. That would actually be pretty. Can you guys see that purple? That would be really gorgeous, actually. Let's make a dragonfly. What the hell? We can do it. I got to think about the wings, what color I want to do the wings, but... I got to think about wing color. Yeah, I think it'll look good with the purple. So I got to pull this purple down a little bit before we go any further. Let's go ahead and get that done. So I got to thin it out to make the dragonfly, or it won't work. That's too thick right now. Oh, Lucy. I don't know if I have a whole lot of Lucy left, though. All right, let me get this broken down a little bit. We just have to thin it out so I can make the dragonfly body. It's too thick right now. I just have to thin this down. Wish I could thin down like this glass. That'd be awesome. All right, I think that'll be enough. Oh, I love this color. I absolutely love this purpley color. All right, let's go ahead and start the dragonfly body. So the main part I can keep pretty thick. So we're going to go ahead and start the dragonfly body real quick. All right, going to put that off to the side. We're going to make a black head for the dragonfly. All right, so there's the black for the head. We're going to pull this down and then start doing the tail. Now, I do the tail a little different than most people. I build the little sections on there. I notice that dragonflies have these little, like, almost looks like marbles running down them. And I try to simulate that as close as I can. That's why I had to thin down that purple. So there's our initial, there's the body, the head, and we're going to start building the tail off of it. Let's go ahead and do that now. So let me get a couple sections built on here, and I'll show you what I'm going for. Get the next one built. So you can see here we're building like little marble-ish looking parts for the tail. Because I always think they have these little sections. And then as you start working your way down, you make each marble just a little bit smaller than the previous one, tapering that tail down. The only thing that's kind of time consuming is you got to wait for it to cool off before you put the next one on. Couple more. It's actually going a lot faster than I thought. One more. And now you can see we got that dragonfly tail section built. Now when I get done, I'll curve it a little bit, but right now we have to keep it pretty straight. But you can definitely see that purple blue color coming out. There we go. So it's kind of got that really beautiful purplish blue bouncing through there. And we're going to go ahead and add, oh, that's a little funky feeling. There. No. Find a good holding rod. There we go. That's my winner. So this will turn into the stinger when I'm done. The little thing on the end. I don't think it's a stinger. I used to be afraid of these guys. I thought that little part at the end would sting you when I was really young. All right, we had to add a little bit to the head up here. Get it all rounded out. Then we'll start making some wings. I think I'm going to do the wings out of clear, and then we'll add an opalescent to the dragonfly wings. We'll make it opalescent. It's a process that I have to do afterwards, but it'll look cool. And there's the head for the dragonfly. So next spot, we have to do the wings. We'll build 4 wings off of it. And hopefully it looks good. Let's go ahead and build the wings. We're going to use the cool tool for that. All right, let's build some wings. And we're going to separate that. And we got that really neat looking pattern in there for the wings. Now we just have to pull them down. So there is wing number 1 all set up. I like that little pattern in there too. I always think it just gives it a little character to it. All right, let's do another one. We got 3 more to go. Let's build up the next 3. And then we'll attach them to the dragonfly, and we'll see about attaching it to the sculpture tonight. Okay, we got that part done. We're going to go ahead and flatten it out to wing number 2. And again, that's what it looks like before we get that done. Glow in the dark would work, but it doesn't fit the aesthetic on here. It's not the look that I would want for it. I think the opalescent would look better. John was asking about do glow in the dark wings. I just don't think it would fit what I'm looking for. I mean, it's a great idea. There is wing number 2. Let me line them up here. Yep, they're right on the money. Here we got 2 of them done. Let's get the rest done. Two more to go. There we go. These are going to be a smaller size because they're the back wings. So we'll pull that one down. Oop, wrong rod. All right, let's get this pulled down. and just a hair smaller. And those are lining up good. And we're going to go ahead and pull this off, and then we'll start the assembly of the dragonfly. All right, last one. Okay, there we go. Last wing, and we'll do the assembly. Nope, that one didn't look good. That looks like caca. Not good. We're going to redo that one. So this is the part that nobody else shows you when the stuff goes wrong. But we don't hide anything, except my eyeballs. All right, let's try this again without the fail this time. Much better. That's way better. And I can leave this attached to the rock because we're going to go right to the dragonfly now. So there's our wing. We're going to grab the dragonfly and just start assembling now. And there's our dragonfly body. Thank you for all the jewels. Terry, thank you very much. All right, let's get this guy fused together and looking good. Sorry for the noise. Ooh. Got a little squirrely there. Pushed too hard on it. That was a little scary. All right, let's not let that happen again. I'm going to attach a really good holding rod right here and get rid of that one. There we go. That was a little scary. There. Much better. I feel a little safer now. There. And one more to go. I just got to make sure I put them on in the right pattern. My dyslexic butt puts these patterns on backwards. So I got to make sure all the lines are going the same way. There's our dragonfly so far. Now we are going to curve the tail a little bit. I don't like these super straight, goofy looking tails that way. Oh, that ain't going to work. I don't know where that went. No, not long enough. Nope. No, you'll work. There, we got a little bit of a curvature to it now, so it's not so black. All right, give me a second. I got to go. I think I had a glass rod drop over here. I got to go check and make sure it's not burning something over there. Give me a second. And then we'll do assembly. Sorry, safety first. I just got to make sure that rod didn't fall anywhere it shouldn't have gone. Oh, I see it. 1 second. Found it. Just had to make sure it was not burning anything. Okay, so we're going to assemble the dragonfly on there. So we're going to park it on here. So that's the piece right there with the dragonfly on it. Actually, that looks pretty sick. I like it. I got to put some eyeballs on there, though. I probably should have done that before the assembly. Oops. There. Now it looks complete. And there we go. So there's the dragonfly on the flower with the bees. I'm going to let that sit out. It's not going to crack. I'll just let it sit out. We'll put it in the kiln later and let it fuse up later. I think it looks kind of cool. I like it. It looks different. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. That's pretty badass though, right? All right, now I got all the brand new colors that I had from earlier today called Midnight and Gumbolt Berry. We're going to make a quick marble out of that. I think a kind of a cool looking marble would be fun. They're new colors that I haven't used before, so yeah, let's try it. I used it earlier on flowers, but oh, I have the flowers over here. Put that off to the side. Yeah, the flower won't show up well. All right, so we're going to make a couple quick marbles. Let me get the colors ready. That is one. And where did the berry gumbolt go? Ah, there it is. So 2 new colors. And we're going to make a quickie marble. Let me put this away though. I got too much crap up here. I got all these shorties. All right, we'll do it that way. Let's use one of these guys, cut it down, be fine. Oh, we need a marble mold. There. I can't wait to see that sawtooth what do they call it? Sawfish when it cools off. I'm so excited for that one. The Sawfish is going to be amazing too. We did that one earlier on the wave. It looks really, really good. Yeah, I do like that dragonfly. It looks good. I love that purple. Oh, this is the only hard part. You got to wait for this to cool off before you can do anything. It constantly wants to move, see? It's like a hurry up and wait. Okay, we're good. Actually, I should make a marble for the kaleidoscope. That would actually be a good idea. Do a new kaleidoscope. Yeah, we should do a marble for the kaleidoscope. This is way too much glass for it, but... yeah, let's make a marble for the kaleidoscope. What would the dragonfly cost? I don't know yet. So we're going to make a... so I've been making kaleidoscope marbles, and we're doing kind of a new build on them all the time. If you check in my shorts video on my channel, you'll see I have 2 kaleidoscope images going through, some videos. And I want to try and create all kinds of different kaleidoscope versions in there. So I want to do different colors, and I have 2 new colors here we can use. We'll pop 3 or 4 colors in it, though. We'll give it 3 or 4 colors. They're not real big marbles, though, so they're not going to be gigantic. But it means it's also pretty fast. Won't take a long time. All right, so this is how we're going to start off. Just with clear glass. We're going to take some white. We're going to dab some white on top of here. And then I'm going to put one of the new colors on top of there. So it's going to be dots of white. And then we're going to put a dark color on top of that. And that way you get multiple colors bouncing through there. And we're going to make it into a flower pattern. But I will bring it over to the camera really close so you guys can get a good view of it. I'll bring it up after I get stuff built on here. We'll do it in stages so you all can see it. I promise I won't leave you hanging. I will share the experience with you. So we start off with these little white nubbies on there, okay? L to the B! Thank you for the cowboy hat. All right, we're going to use the lighter version. I think this is called Berry Gumboldt. Berry Gumboldt. I don't know where they came up with that name, but... all right, we're going to go ahead and put dots on top of here. going to look like a whole bunch of eyeballs staring at you. Then we're going to melt them in. And then I'm going to create a little bit of a pattern to it. And we'll make it into the kaleidoscope version. And there are the 1,000 little eyeballs looking at you. All right, we're going to melt that in. Mickey Rourke? No, Mickey Mouse. Someone said I look like Mickey Rourke. I don't think so. I look more like Denzel. I don't know where you get Mickey Rourke. I'm more of a Denzel looking guy. I'm like the Denzel doppelganger. I don't know where you get Mickey Rourke. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to give it a little swirl. Well, let me show you what it looks like before we swirl it. So it's all blended in. Give it a second. There we go. We got them all blended in now. And then we're going to heat it up. I'm going to stick this on there and give it a small twist, and it's going to kind of give it a paisley pinwheel flower look. Yeah, it's going to look pretty awesome. And then on the other side, we'll do maybe uranium and the other color. So we'll get like 3 or 4 colors bouncing through here. And then this is going to go into the kaleidoscope. There we go. So before we round it out, you can kind of see that spiraling pattern happening right there. And then we're going to go ahead and round it out, and then I'm going to do the other side and create a whole different effect of colors. I know, I like that dragonfly, right? We just got done making it. You're saying I'm from the Food Network? Are you calling me fat? I know I'm overweight, but damn. Food Network, so you're calling me fat. That's okay. I'm overweight. Someone said Food Network. I'm in a mood, so you know what? It is what it is. All right, so let's get this rounded out. And again, this is going to be for the kaleidoscope. I'll be able to post a video of that tomorrow. So we'll get this all made. I'll make a video, a short video of this in the kaleidoscope tomorrow. So if you're watching it being made now, check out a shorts video tomorrow. It'll be one of the new ones, and this will be the marble from the kaleidoscope. Look at that spiral. Isn't that cool? One more time. One more time. Isn't that just beautiful? I love spirals. It is more of me to love. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. that is a badass color. I got to show you the color. I don't care. We're going to wait a second. You guys have to hold on. Watch this. Look at those colors in there. That is a new color for me. It's called Berry Gumboldt. It's kind of got a turquoise look to it with the white. Oh my God, that's a gorgeous freaking color. I love that. Oop. All right, let's go ahead and get the other side done. I figured out what I'm going to do on the other side. We're going to do lime green with a color called Midnight. So we're going to make it lime green, not uranium. Yeah, we're definitely going to do lime. What's up, Pearl Jam? Oh, Pearl Jean. Sorry, I said Pearl Jam. You have a dragonfly for that? Good for you. All right, let's get this tapered down. So we're going to do lime green and a dark color called Midnight. I'm excited to see what this looks like, actually. And then this will be on the kaleidoscope. Pull a lot of that off. All right, so we're going to use lime. You get that a lot? I bet. Yeah, I bet you get that a lot. I read it that way, but I'm dyslexic, so I have an excuse. All right, let's do the lime green. All right, we got that done. And we're going to add this color's called Midnight. I get this color name. Gumboldt Berry, though. I don't understand that one. Okay, so we got the Midnight and the lime green on there. And it's all textured right now. We got that eyeball look. We're going to melt it all in, give it a swirl, and hopefully get some cool colors. So I got to melt it all in. We'll attach a rod, and we'll spin it very slowly and get that pattern built in there. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this thing's rocking. Can I make a cat? Yep, I can make a cat. I don't remember how much the cats are. I have like 200 items plus that we make. I can't remember the price of everything offhand. Too many items. I got to cut it down, actually. All right, so we're going to heat it up and give it a spiral. So tomorrow, check out the Kaleidoscope short video, And this marble that I'm making right now will be the kaleidoscope that you see, the image through the kaleidoscope. This is the one we're going to do for tomorrow. There we go. So before we melt it in, I'll show you the pattern. Like that. You can kind of see it starting to pop out. That's too much flame. Got a little excited there. After I finish this marble, I'll be taking questions and answers. So if you have questions on glass blowing or how to get started or colors or something, that's when I'll have the opportunity right after I finish this marble, which will be in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So if you want to stick around, if you have any questions, I'll stick around and answer questions for y'all. I'm excited to see this one tomorrow. It's going to look cool as hell. All right, there's our pattern. And you can see now we got that swirl bouncing through there. It looks good. Oh, way over. Nope, wrong tool. So this tool is made by Dragonfly Creation, one of my moderators. One of the mods on here. Speaking of which, thank you to the mods for hanging with me. And this is how you get the marble off of the rod. So you just grab it, lock it, and tap. Tappity tap tap. And smooth it out. And that's all she wrote. Let's see if I can bounce the color for you guys on here. So we'll bring it way over. Oh, wow. Look at that color. So there's one side with the lime green. And then there's the berry gumbolt with white. That's kind of cool, actually. Okay. So as I said, I will take questions. If you have any questions on glass, I'm happy to answer them. Let me go ahead and mute this. There. And then this is our unique hammerhead shark. I bet you've never seen a hammerhead shark like that. This is my sense of humor. Hammerhead shark. Isn't that's my sense of humor. I'm sorry you're stuck with it. That's me. But yeah, that's the hammerhead shark. I thought that was pretty freaking funny myself. At least I entertained myself. How much does a gas cost a day or week? I don't know about day per week. I only go by the month, and it's about $1,200 a month. So you can break it down by the week, but the week varies depending on how big a flame I'm using. So if I'm using this flame, I would probably only spend about $400 a month in gas and oxygen. This one would probably run me about $800. But when I'm using that, it's definitely $1,200 when I'm using this from time to time. This consumes a tremendous amount of gas. So it just varies depending on how much how much oxygen I'm going through with the flame. But I average it by the month. Monthly costs are good for me to go by. So that's kind of what it is. So about $1,200 a month. Which isn't bad. I mean, it's not terrible. Now, it's hard to say per week, though, because some weeks might be more, some might be less. That's what I'm saying. If I'm doing really small stuff, it's not very much that week. But if I'm doing gigantic stuff for 1 week, then it would be a lot more. That's why I base it on a month. Not another hammerhead shark like that. I know, right? That's my sense of humor, though. You guys are stuck with it. Your step-grandpa used to do this. How did your step-grandpa used to do this after he passed away? But I get what you're saying. How many hours a day? 6 to 8. I'm not always on live stream. Sometimes I do a lot of memorial work, so I take ash from people or pets and infuse it into the glass. And some people don't want it on live stream. They don't want their loved ones or their pets done on live stream, so I'm not always working on the on live. Exhaust fan above my head? Yep. I actually have 3 fans going right now. I got plenty of airflow. If I didn't have airflow, I'd be passed out right now. So, yeah, you definitely have to have airflow. If you're in an enclosed area like a basement or something, you have to have fresh air coming in and out and exhausting out. So air in, air out. But when you're in my studio, it's not a problem. Interested in learning for the medical labs? Is that a thing? Yeah, if you're interested in doing medical, like scientific glassblowing, I would highly recommend it. I just saw a job post for scientific glassblower, and I think the starting pay was $240,000 a year for scientific. I was just messing with you, Aaron. I got you. I'm dyslexic, so I read it exactly the way it should have. You just used up $30 of gas chatting and not using? Yep, because I wanted to annoy you. Yeah, it's my money. Get used to it. I'll burn up as much gas as I want. I don't care. Yeah, you're welcome, Tomcat. I'm happy to answer questions. Absolutely. 32 years for glass, Ron. I started really full-time when I was 21 or so. 21, 22. But I grew up with it. So my mom started when I was 2 years old. I grew up having been around it pretty much my entire life. So for me to jump in, it was pretty easy. Can I make something to honor your grandfather? No, I'm pretty full with orders. Thank you, though, for asking. But yeah, I pretty much grew up around this. So even though I didn't actually mess with a flame until I was like 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Having watched it being done my entire life, I kind of had a little bit of knowledge going into it. You like the dragon? I like that too. It's looking actually kind of cool. I like the color of it. I think I can shine a light on it. You guys might get a better view there. There we go. There's the dragonfly. It's looking pretty. Got a couple little bumblebees down there. I still have to put that in the kiln and run it through its cycle. So it definitely needs to go through an annealing process. You're great at my work. Thank you. Right now, I'm done for the night. I'm just taking questions right now. You wish you could do something like this? You can. There's no age. I've taught people in their 70s, 80s, having done it. There's no age where you can start or stop. In fact, if you're at a retirement age and you've retired, you could probably advance faster than someone that has to work and isn't retired because you have full time to be able to learn. I've taught a lot of people that have retired and started this as a hobby and actually ended up building a second career. Jace taught his older half brother how to blow glass jets. Oh, awesome. Dragonfly as a grandson, Jace, and he's a huge fan. That's why I keep this channel clean, because I like it when kids are able to watch. I think a younger generation watching this and possibly taking it up as a career or hobby is a cool thing. So far, I'm kind of AI proof. It's not going to be permanent. I know that at some point AI is going to figure out how to do robots with glass, but right now I'm pretty safe. How long was it to make the Dragonfly? I think I probably spent about 20 minutes on the Dragonfly. The whole piece together was probably an hour and a half. The Dragonfly was the faster of the parts. The Dragonfly was one of the quicker parts of it. Have I been to Murano, Venice? Yes. Actually, I loved Murano. I had a really good time there. My wife wore a pendant, and when we were there, they kept trying to grab at her neck to see the pendant because they had never seen that technique before. And they were trying to pick my brain on how to do it, and I wouldn't tell them because it was my thing. But having that technique there, they kind of gave us tours behind the back rooms where the public isn't really allowed. And they took us on a tour. One factory took us on a tour where I saw stuff from like the 1700s in there. It was really cool. I saw things that are not open to the public there. It was neat. They were really kind. It was fun in Murano. I liked Venice a lot. Venice was a cool-ass city. Yeah, Venice was very, very cool. If you have any questions on costs, you can message me at TheFieryGuy.com. For sure. Yeah, I love Venice. Venice was awesome. I really enjoyed it there. I think my favorite city in Italy, though, was Florence. My favorite city was Florence. We did Rome, Florence, Pompeii, Venice. Murano's right there. So, but Florence was my favorite city in Italy. That and another town called Orvieto. I think it's Orvieto. Orvieto was known for all their pottery, and they still make everything by hand there, and it was cool to watch that. Can I make a box? Nope. No, a box would be not something I would do. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. Marston, thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate the high five. You're awesome. Thank you. But yeah, I always try to do answer question and answers at the end of this because I would like to see this art form continue long after I'm gone. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for. Yeah, I love educating people. I think it'd be a cool thing for people to take it up, especially kids. I would say about 10 is a good starting age. 10 years old, I think, would be pretty good. Yeah, 10 years old would be a good age for someone to just get their dabble in it a little bit. And about 12 or 13, you could kind of turn them loose a little bit and let them kind of have some fun. 12, 13 would be a good age. Yeah, dragonflies they're fun, but the hardest part about the dragonfly is keeping the wings even, like making each wing the same size. That's the hardest part about that. I do, yes. I have someone to pass it on to. And I like Dragonfly has Jace, and if Jace ever takes it up, I will help Jace get started and teach him a little bit too. Dragonfly has it covered too, but if Jace ever got started, I would definitely help him along. Do I do classes? Not really. No. If I do anything for helping someone, I would mostly do it by video. Set up a webcam or your phone. I'd watch. I'd be able to correct you via video. That's kind of the best way to do it for me right now. My studio is very, very concentrated, and I very rarely let anybody on my equipment. Yeah, I very rarely let anybody touch my equipment. Mostly because if it gets damaged, I'm kind of stuck. And I like my mess. This is my mess. This is like my happy spot. Thank you for the MVP, Jules. Thank you. Who is that? Okay, N1. Thank you very much for the Jules. I appreciate that. For the MVP. I appreciate that. Yeah, tell Jace I got him. What's the cost of all my equipment? I've probably got a 80 to 90,000 invested. You don't need that to start. It'll cost you about 2,500 to 3,000 to get started. You don't need everything I have. In fact, I wouldn't even recommend, if you had all the money in the world, to buy it all. I wouldn't even begin to. No, the wings are clear, but I added a pattern to them, and so they kind of offset a color. But I'm going to apply a opalescent to the wings. So we're going to make the wings kind of pearlescent, opalescent. What's up, Tom Tom? How you been? I'm good, Tom Tom. Thank you for asking. Long time no see. I appreciate that, N1. N1. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, the wings are clear, but we're going to kind of make them iridized. There's a special process we can do to kind of give them an iridescent. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the dragonfly, it came out better than I thought. This sculpture was not planned today. I just kind of threw everything together. This was not a planned project. I did a live stream earlier, and I had some spare parts, and we just threw it together. This was not a planned project. We just kind of built it on live, and that's what ended up happening from it. It was a impromptu build. Yeah, if you're watching and you're not subscribed or following, I would really appreciate a subscription or follow. Doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps my channel a lot. It definitely helps with the algorithm and stuff, and yeah. And we're monetized on YouTube, so. Your cat passed away? I'm sorry to hear that. I hate it when pets pass away. I wish dogs and cats lived longer. It sucks. Can I lift it up to see the base? Sure. There. There's a little bumblebee. I can't lift it too much because, yeah. But yeah, little bumblebees. So it's got two little bumblebees and leaves and dragonfly. It definitely looks cool. But it was an impromptu build. I literally had the rose from the other day, and we just kind of built it in the early stream, and then tonight we did the dragonfly and I added it in. We just put the dragonfly on tonight. But yeah, I like the little bumblebees on there too. It's just kind of like it's different than the normal hummingbirds I do. I got to learn to make a better butterfly. That's the only thing I'm really lacking right now is I need to make a better butterfly. They kind of suck. Yeah, the butterflies are eluding me. I don't know, Charlie. I don't have a price on it right now. I really don't. I kind of let Stephanie do the pricing. She knows a little bit better than I do. I just build it. I have the easy job. All I have to do is make the glass. Making the glass is the easy part. Wrapping it, packing it, selling it, putting it on the website, that part sucks. I have the easy job. Let's see if my torch is cooled off. Yeah. So a lot of people wonder why I'm letting the flame run. It's actually cooling my torch down by letting the flame run. This particular torch, as it's running, it's cooling itself off right now. It's completely cooling itself down with running because of the secondary oxygen chamber that's in there. The second set of oxygen ports in there cool the torch down. So that's kind of why I let it run. It's actually cooling the whole thing off. Because you wouldn't be able to do that with any other torch at all. And that's the truth. That would burn you on a normal torch. Yeah, I like making dragonflies. I hate shipping them, but I like making them. Shipping them sucks. But making them is a lot of fun. I'm going to try and figure out a way to, when I do the sculptures, have them like fit together. So like the dragonfly would fit into a little stub or something. Almost like Legos where you could assemble them rather than everything be fused. And I'm trying to develop a process for that where when you ship it, the dragonfly would be separate and the rose would be separate. And then you could assemble it once you get the package. I'm really trying to figure out how to do that effectively. It would make everything really good. Yeah. After it cools off, then I shut it down. Yeah. Like even when I shut down at the end of the night, I'll leave the oxygen running for a few minutes to cool it off. 100%. Yeah, I think the assembly Lego method would be cool. That's kind of my next stage of evolution with the glass, is being able to build projects and then have you buy the parts and just assemble your own like Legos. That's kind of my next adventure, how to build that. I don't know how to do it yet. But yeah, I want to be able to build something and then you could buy parts and assemble it and make your own sculpture off of the blown glass. Glass blowing Legos, kind of. That's my next creation. It's going to take a while to figure that out, though. But that would be a much better solution to a lot of things. And I think that would be the best thing. Yeah, I think I'll figure it out. I've invented a lot of things with glass, so I'll figure it out. We'll get there. All right, 10:30 my time. So I appreciate all of you hanging with me. And if you have any questions, message us at TheFieryGuy.com. And I'll see you all tomorrow. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. You are awesome. And thank you for making my night better every single night by joining me. I appreciate you being on the live stream. I really do.